Halito, everybody, welcome back. This is CT over at Native Reality, and we're going to be reviewing today 90 Day Fiance the other way, the last episode in addition to the tell all, because I figure I don't know if I want to do two whole videos for that. So anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you guys had a great Mother's Day. I really had a wonderful, wonderful, amazing Mother's Day with my son and my husband, and just to see a lot of the moms out there and people buying flowers and selling flowers is really great. So let's get right on into the episode. By the way, this is going to be brought to you from a mixed urban Native American perspective and a secular perspective. So keep those things in mind. So that kind of informs the lens that I view the world through, and we're going to talk about it. So I don't know if you guys saw it last night. Here, let me get a little bit more in focus. I don't know. It's a little bit better. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Oh, good morning, Susan. How are you? Susan, did you have a Mother's Day? I don't know if you're a mom, but you had a great day also. Good. Okay, good. Hi, Barbara. How are you? Thanks, everybody. Okay, now it's officially a party, right? We got to chat, right? Okay, so cool. So last night, I didn't realize that the episode was going to be so short. So, it was a 1 hour episode, which was great. Honestly, I could do more like 1 hour, 90 Day Fiance episodes, but that was pretty good. So, Gabe finally gets his act together, decides to go ahead and man up and go to the aisle and get married. Isabel, she was pissed, but, she managed to get through it. They had their wedding ceremony. It was very beautiful, lovely. A lot of the work and the nerves and the am I going to be accepted and all this stuff, everything that they created together finally built up and became a product, like an actual, this tangible thing. This wedding is coming together, these different families and different cultures and stuff like that. So even though Gabe doesn't go into his culture that much, I'm assuming Gabe's Latino. I hope we get a little bit more information on that, but I'm pretty sure he is. His mom, met Isabel's dad, and was it just me? But Isabel's dad, he seemed like he was like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting Gabe's mom to be so beautiful. I saw a little chemistry there, but anyway. So yeah, they had their wedding. Nicole and Mahmoud, finally agreed that he's going to go to the States. So they're in the process about doing that. But she did, however, found out that he's been texting some other women. Apparently some catfish, or I don't know if it's a catfish, but somebody trying to sell him some TVs over in China. Okay. So Mr. Rigid, I can do whatever I want to do, apparently is, he's got his own issues. I'm like, girl, keep his ass right there in Egypt. So anyway, let's see. So who else? Oh, so Rishi. Okay, Rishi is having a very difficult time adjusting to his new single status. He feels like he still wants to fight for Jen. It's like, where was all of this? Before you should have been. It's like you don't realize what you have until it's gone, kind of thing. And it's sad. He seems heartbroken, and his friend, the astrologer, is telling him, "I didn't want to tell you, but the stars were not aligned in your favor, and this marriage was never gonna happen. It was never gonna happen." And I was like, "Oh man, that was a blow." And he was like, "Well, I love astrology, but I love her more." So we'll see, Rishi. Talk is cheap. You were saying all that stuff before, and I don't know. We'll see. But Jen is she has her foot down. She's like, listen. She was like, for myself, I need to, detach from this. I know it's not going to work. And, good for Jen for finally, being strong enough to disconnect. Right? That's a very hard thing to do when you've been in love with someone for so long. They've been together for a few years, and long distance relationships can be so difficult because you build up something in your head of what it's going to be. And then once you get there, you can be severely let down, especially when you let long distance relationships. I'm all for them, but I feel that they should not go on for very long, not for too long. My husband and I did, we did it, but we had a very firm plan in place, okay, we're going to see each other at least once a month. And yes, it costs money and it costs time, but that's what we had to do to keep up the relationship. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked, I think. So, I just, I don't know. I don't know what he could do or say to get her back other than, hey, my parents are fully on board, and I don't know if that's going to happen, right? So, all right, that's Rishi. So, the last, listen, the last couple in the episode was Chris and Jamie. So they're off the heels of that same fight that they had last week. So, Chris doesn't want Jamie raising her voice, and Jamie's still like, upset that Chris didn't come back in time, that, the 1 or 2 weeks turned into 5 months. Very salty about that. So they're fighting. And then Chris is feeling overwhelmed because she's feeling like she's been working and sending money, and her son got into trouble, and she had to stay and blah blah blah. But Jamie's like, but you're not prioritizing the marriage. She's like, but I'm a mom first, and yes, you're a mom first. That's true, but you got to take into consideration when you move to a different country that, these kind of things are going to happen. And maybe if there was a little bit more trust and a little bit more getting to know one another in the beginning, there wouldn't be, if they had more of a solid foundation, I think that Chris wouldn't feel so resentful about spending money, because she would know, hey, we've been together for X amount of years. Of course I'm going to send her money because, I told her to quit her job, and, I agreed to help out a little bit more with the finances. Then you wouldn't be so resentful, right? Because it's already, you've had a history, you've had a process. But just going straight in, you guys did not know each other very well. There was already a ghosting episode between you guys where Chris wasn't answering the phone, and not fully disclosing her health condition and things like that. They just didn't get to know each other properly. So of course things were going to explode because they come from very different cultures. They don't speak the same. Well, Jamie does speak a little bit of English. I shouldn't say that, but Chris speaks no Spanish. It was doomed for disaster. And honey, Jamie didn't realize she got herself old Mississippi country girl on her hands, because she went straight up, countryside, we'll just say that, right? With the knives and all that stuff. She likes to, collect knives and everything. So I just think Jamie really did not, fully get to know Chris, and vice versa. It just wasn't going to work. So, Chris is like, instead of Chris saying, I need a minute, let me step off, she was like, I'm done with you. I'm finished. I'm done. I'm breaking up this marriage. And I was like, God, you didn't even give it like 5 minutes. And Susan, she's here in the chat. Shout out to Susan. Her and I have been speculating that something's been up with Chris. We just can't put our finger on it, but something's going on with her. And just like the way, how explosive she was during the argument. Jamie wasn't getting that crazy for her to just like say, I'm done with you. And she's like, you can keep the apartment. Well, she didn't say you can keep the apartment, but basically that's going to leave Jamie with the apartment. And, and Jamie should not have gotten that $550 apartment when Chris clearly told her that, $400 is the limit. So they just didn't get to know each other well enough, and it's sad. You can't go into these kind of things like this just so like willy-nilly, loosey-goosey. And but we are about to find out about a little bit what that process is like more in depth on the new show that came on last night, Match Me Abroad, which, by the way, I will be doing a review for right after I finish this live. So if you guys watch that was really good. We get to see what that long distance thing looks like in a different format than the 90-Day Fiance. Like, these people are actively seeking to get there and hopefully find someone when they get there. So this is a little bit of a different take. So I'm very excited to watch that. So, all right, that was about it. Okay, so yeah, so they're embroiled in this fight or whatever, and then they both walk over to the van. And first Chris walks over to the van, and the producer is going that way too. And then you see Jamie follow behind. And Jamie is there to basically say, oh, you want to wash your hands of me? Here's your shorts, here's your this, because I don't want you to say that I only wanted you for your, material possessions or whatever. So Chris is like, why did you follow me over here? I told you I don't want to talk to you. And Jamie's like, no. Listen. And he starts giving her all her stuff. Next thing you know, because it was a van, right? And the doors, like those kind of slide open doors. Chris said, I told you I don't want to talk to you. Takes her hand, she gets up out of her seat, and she pushes Jamie. She could have fell down to the ground. And I said, oh, Jamie, See, better this happened on camera. Better this happened with some people around, because that knife wielding little Mississippi girl, honey, or sorry, Alabama girl, you don't know you don't know what she's capable of. And I said, good thing you just found out now. Break up. Don't, just be a clean break. But I'm wondering how it's going to work, because they are technically married, and she doesn't want to get stuck being married. For Chris, she can just wash her hands of it and go back to the States, and she doesn't really have to deal with the paperwork. But as a new Colombian, and I don't even know if she has Colombian citizenship yet, because remember, Jamie is from Venezuela. Remember Venezuela, they had all that turmoil and stuff with the government and food insecurity and stuff, and a lot of them had to flee to other countries in South America. So her status isn't completely there yet either. So how does she annul the marriage or the divorce or whatever? So I don't know, Susan. Yeah, she has big issues, Susan. When Chris pushed her, that is abuse. Come on, you don't do something like that. And it didn't warrant that. You know what I mean? I can tell if somebody's coming at you and you just got no choice but to defend yourself. But to just I told you to walk away and you're in my. It's not like Jamie was in her face, right? She's just trying to take stuff out of a bag and give it to her. I was like, no, she's no. And you know what? Listen, Jamie, for all that it's worth, girl, you can do so much better. My God, those eyebrows. What is this? The mid-70s? Good Lord. Anyway, so let's moving on. Let's move on. So, so Mahmoud, he's over there backpedaling and, making up excuses about, why he was trying to talk to this woman. And then he's like, oh, well, yeah, I guess I shouldn't have did it. And then now all of a sudden he's okay with the wardrobe. He's like, I'm still a Muslim man, and this still won't be easy for me, but maybe I can relax a little bit on the tank tops, or not even, oh, God forbid I say tank tops, on the 3/4 sleeve, blouses or something like that. Oh, now you can be a little bit more reasonable. That is just, oof. I don't know. Maybe bringing him to the States, maybe, can create a huge change in him, or maybe he may feel more, even like, not more, but maybe he will start to feel isolated, maybe especially if he doesn't have many of his countrymen there with him and stuff like that. I don't know how this is going to work, but you know what? They've been together for 4 years. I think she should leave him. I just do. Age, cultural gap way too wide. You could drive a Mercedes through it. And the fact that he almost hit her on the street. I think it should be done. But, he's going to be reasonable and, go to the States and give it a shot. So whatever, I don't know. So, so that was basically it. Yeah, we covered Jen and Rishi, and that is the end of the last episode. Now let's get to the tell-all. Ooh. I've been waiting for this tell-all. Listen, I don't know about you all, but honey, this 90 Day Fiance The Other Way Season 4 was good. It was good. Or in Chickasaw language, they say chukma. It was good. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So the tell-all, I didn't even, listen, I get a little disorganized sometimes, and I didn't realize that the tell-all was last night. So I was so surprised. I was like, I got to keep taking notes, right? So it starts off with Gabe. He's in the back room and everybody's gathering in there and stuff and he first meets Nicole. And he thinks Nicole is a dime piece, all right? Nicole's coming in there with that perfectly coiffed bob, I should say. And today she has decided to go absolute and pure platinum with the hair color. And I'm like, you know what, Nicole, for some of you who don't know, I'm also a hairstylist. And one of my specialties, or my main specialty, was hair color. And I had to do a lot of blonde all day long. Everybody, every race, every skin tone, everybody wanted to have some sort of blonde. So my little blonde critique I would give for her is that, listen, if her stylist is listening, could you please convince her to put a little bit more yellow tone in the hair? It is just so platinum, and her skin is so pale. It's just like there needs to be some sort of contrast. It just kind of all blends in, and she came out, honey, she had on her I remember when I was a little girl and they used to make the Barbie clothes, and I was a kid in the 80s, right? So Barbie clothes, it was reflective of 80s fashion, very, Dynasty, Dallas, poofed shoulders. It reminded me of a Barbie outfit, like with the one shoulder coming over with one long sleeve. I guess she said, "This is for Mahmoud, honey. I got one sleeve covered. I'm to my wrist on the left side, honey." But anyway, yeah, no, Gabe was like completely enamored by her and everything. So yeah, I mean, it was good. Oh man, that's a stink bug. I hate when those get in the house. Man, if I try and let that thing out. Anyway, I'm gonna have to let it go for right now. I hate bugs. They really drive me nuts. But anyway, so okay, so that's Gabe and Nicole. So oh yeah, but and Gabe also lets Nicole know that he is going to have some words for Mahmoud, because Gabe is gonna be the one we saw in the previews. Gabe is gonna be the one really coming for everybody, because he's like, comes from like hold on guys, I'm sorry, this bug is driving me nuts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, gotta let it out. Hold on one second. Oh my God, get out of here. Oh good, it's gone. Hold on guys, hold on. All right, sorry about that. Thank you. Thank you. Those things, I mean, because you can't smash them, right? And it's like they've been a big problem in our state. They've been like more like the past few years or whatever, and they're just horrendous. They look like little dinosaur bugs. So anyway, but thank God it flew out of the window. I didn't have to do anything. So anyway, yes. Okay. So yeah. So Gabe is like, look, I got a few words for your man Mahmoud, and it makes sense, because Gabe has had to live under a sort of oppressive societal ideas of what you're supposed to be, what's accepted, what's not accepted. So you're talking about someone, like if we put it into terms of, let's say, like political parties, because I'm a politics junkie too. I don't talk that much politics on here, but I'm definitely a politics junkie, and I'm definitely a hard lefty, right? So he would be considered your extreme left, versus, let's say, Mahmoud would be considered almost like an extreme right. So, he's like all for women empowerment and doing what you want to do and stuff like that. So, of course, Gabe is going to be the voice of that. And Nicole's face was like, oh no. And it feels like Nicole's always trying to protect Mahmoud from people who have criticisms against him, or who have critiques against him, with the way that, in regards to how he treats her. Not that he is from a particular culture and particular, ethnicity or anything, but more about how his worldview based off of where he lives and, culture, religion, and stuff like that is being imposed onto her. So, yeah, I definitely saw something coming here. So, anyway, now then listen, honey, we had to get to Debbie. Oof, Debbie. She is the gift that keeps on giving. She's just like that little box with, gift wrap that you keep on, and there's another box and another box and another box. Like, she is just too much. So, honey, she gets out of that van. She has on her full purple feather ensemble, and even the fan has the feathers on it. She is just too much. She's got her hair freshly blown out, and all topped off with a pair of green, yes, I said green metallic boots. Debbie was just too much. Debbie was too much. She goes, "Oh, I'm here at the epicenter of insanity." Oh God, she just cracked me up. She's so funny. She's so freaking funny. So anyway, so now everybody's joined on the set, or in the back, right? I guess like it's like the green room or something. So we have Debbie, Nicole, Gabe, Danielle, and Jen. Everybody's there. And I'm looking at the body language. Danielle's acting a little like, I don't know. She's kind of looking like she wants to say something, but she's not going to say anything. Gabe is making way too many faces. Like, he's, his immaturity definitely shows, and it showed a lot last night. Let's see, Jen, she was just happy to be there, basically. And who else was it? Debbie, everybody loves Debbie. Nicole, Gabe, Danielle. Yeah, that was about it, right? Okay, so everybody's there. So then they get on set. They start the actual, like start talking about the topics and stuff, and what's her, Sean Robinson starts asking questions and stuff like that. So Debbie, she starts asking about Debbie and Osama's situation. So Osama is over there saying that, hold on, I know that's not another one. Okay, that's like I don't know. I think it's like a ladybug or something. It's crazy because we're having unusually warm weather now. Wait, hold on, guys. I don't know what that is. We're having all this really crazy warm weather here in Seattle, and usually it's quite like I'm still usually have the heat on at this time of the year. So now all the bugs are coming in. Oh, what are you gonna do? And it's like I live basically in a rainforest. There's nothing but trees over here. Anyway, so so okay, so where were we? Okay, yeah. So Sean's asking, questions to Osama, like, did you ever really love her? He's like, yes, I had the love. I loved her. It was very genuine, and everybody's like basically piling on Osama because Debbie's like, you never loved me. Like, how could you love me if you treated me like that? And then listen, this is the part that got me. This is the part that got me when Johan, because Johan's on screen, right? He's in DR. Johan's like, what are you guys talking about? Of course, yeah, she needs to, she needs to help him out. Give him the green card. Of course, help him out. Now, see, I understand, and I know this is going to sound maybe hypocritical, but I feel like these are different situations. I feel like with Johan and Danielle, I feel like there's almost a little bit of a, like it should be like kind of a, like quid pro quo. I don't know. Like they're both getting something out of it, right? But with Osama and Debbie, it feels like Debbie was just that dumb enough to think that he was going to be attracted to her and like desire her and everything like that. No, he desired your money. Now I understand she said she only sent him over the years about $3,000, which may not sound like a lot of money, but maybe where he's living, maybe that was $1,000 a year she sent him. You know what I mean? Maybe 250 here, 250 there every few months. That adds up, and it's not like he's paying rent or anything, right? He lives with his family. So I'm sure that was just money for his art supplies and his poetry, notebooks or whatever. And I feel as though because he bamboozled her and she was dumb enough to fall for that, there was no like, okay, well, I'm going to do this and you do that kind of thing. That the initial agreement was that she was to move her entire life to Morocco, even though he's getting amnesia and acting like he doesn't remember that. Now, she said that the only thing during the first year when they first were talking that she mentioned something about, it would be like a joke if they saw like, our ages, on like an immigration application or something like that. So maybe he somehow thought that meant that I didn't even understand that answer. What made him think that he was coming to the States when she said that she explicitly said that she had no plans to take him to the States. Like, I'm just not understanding that. So, yeah, I think he thought she was going to come near, convince her to go to the States, and then, live his life as a poet on her dime until she dies, which may be in another, 10 years or something like that. He's probably got his fingers crossed, right? So, but with Johan and Danielle, it felt to me as though the cultures are not that different. I mean, it's not so vastly different, right? Latin America, we're all, these kind of sort of colonized sort of, countries, and we kind of know like, our histories are not that different. We just speak different languages, right? So there's that. And then she speaks Spanish, right? Not the best Spanish, it's broken, but she definitely speaks some Spanish. And, so she knows more about the culture, and she knows that ain't nobody looking at her in New York City. Nobody. That's why she tried to get some vacation deed and marry it. You know what I'm saying? Because she knew nobody was looking at her like that. She knows that with her American passport and with her money that she had, it kind of upped her points, it upped her points, in the looks department, right? because nobody's ain't no, like the kids say, ain't nobody checking for her. All right. So you got yourself a young, strong, fit, good skin, got no kids, single guy, much younger than you. So to me, that was more of an exchange. You know what I'm saying? So that to me, it's like, I expect him and her knowing, having been to DR before enough times, her understanding poverty and wanting to elevate your status. I mean, not to say that he would only have to be from the Dominican Republic for that to happen. In any situation where one person has more than another, you're now a union. Obviously, the person who has more will elevate the status of the other person. That, to me, that's what marrying is. It's a joining, it's a union, it's combining and building and growing. But with Debbie and Osama, it was just straight up scam. It was just scam, flim flam scam, straight up. And Debbie, she just had her head in her ass. Poor Debbie. Poor Debbie. My God. I love Debbie. She was scammed. She was. And she really believed that he was just going to write her poems and, go on camel rides and stuff like that. It's like, Debbie, girl, you got to wake up. But we got to respect our elders around here. So I don't want to go too hard on Debbie, but I just don't know what she was thinking. You think usually when people are at that age, they life has given you enough experience to have a little bit more wisdom, but she doesn't really have that because she's so eccentric, right? So then, next thing you know, her son comes out on stage, and honey, he dragged the shit out of Osama's ass. He dragged him. He was like, why don't you get a job? Poetry, be a man, get some real work. Like, help yourself out, help your family out, like do something. Why do you have to try and prey on the elderly? And I'm like, elderly? I don't know, 67 is an elderly, but I mean, I know what he's saying. Like, that's his mom. He obviously feels very protective towards her. And then he was like, listen, now that's not the cop that I want to run into at night when my car breaks down or something, because he's looking at a little bit of anger. But it was understandable in that particular situation, right? And he looked like he wanted to knock the hell out of Osama. He was like, why don't you go get your teeth fixed? He started ragging on his old raggedy teeth. I was like, oh my God. But you know what? That's probably what he thought he was going to do. Get that eye fixed, get them teeth fixed, all on Debbie's dime. And I don't know what Debbie, is her vision good? Like, what's your Medicaid plan? Like, is your vision okay? What the hell did she see in Osama? I didn't get it. Like, I really did not get it. Anyway, so, but yeah, that was really funny though. Like, her son, like, came out on stage, and I'm glad he was there. He made the tell-all very good, because everybody hated Osama, and Osama he stood 10 toes down. Like, no, I loved her. That was fine. And he was like, you're a stalker. You called her all these times. And yeah, apparently he's called her thousands of times. So imagine. So he's 24 years old. He's been talking to her for 4 years. So half of his decade almost of his life, the 20s are like dog years, right? Each year is like 7, 8 years. It's not like, 21 and 22 is different than 32 and 31, you're right? So I feel like she's been part of his later adolescence. So he is really missing that money. He realizes that he messed up. He says, but no, I don't love her anymore. I don't love her. And then, like the son said, but you'll be steady calling her, as soon as this tell-all is done. Barbara said, that was shocking. Oh, but I could not get off the phone. Yeah, I was like, oh my God. Like, is he going to kick his ass through the screen or what? But that was good, though. That was some good TV. I got to admit, that was real good. So let's go next to, what is it? Osama, and then, so when they leave the stage, Debbie calls her son over, or her son comes over to her, and Debbie was like, I don't know about what happened between me and Osama, but I'm seeing Jen over there, and she's looking kind of single, looking kind of cute. Now that could, and listen, her son was like, well, you got my number, Mom. Go ahead and pass it on. I was like, we having some little 90-day the other way, but not so the other way connections going on here. And I was like, okay, this, all right. I mean, if that were to happen, at least Jen would have the blessing of the mother finally. But anyway, but speaking of Jen, so we saw Rishi and he was there, and I still feel like Rishi's best look is when he slicks his hair back. He does that high bun. That looks so good on him. He should have did that for the tell-all. I think he had it like in his like low ponytail or something. That's not the best look for him. But anyway, but then again, I don't remember. But I don't think he was. I just specifically remember like in the confessionals on the actual episodes where his hair was tied back. He looked amazing. So so they start talking to Nicole. So Nicole, the update with her is Nicole is living now in LA, trying to get everything established so that she can bring over Mahmoud from Egypt and get everything established and everything like that. We'll see what kind of shit he's talking when he gets here, because I don't think he's going to be so liberal like he's trying to make us believe he's going to be. Well, he's not saying let me not be completely unfair. I don't want to say that he's saying that he's going to be liberal, but he's saying that he's going to be more open-minded. And that is a start, right? That is a start. I'm concerned with, the fact that he almost hit her, that there's other things that need to be addressed with him. There's a lot of undoing that he would have to do, a lot of therapy, a lot of work to get Mahmoud to the point where he would need to be. And even if he did, the age difference to me is too much. I'm not saying that, May December romances can't work, but I think they work best when there is an understanding. Look, I'm a lot older than you. I'm more financially secure than you. You're here. You're going to get this benefit or this and this and that. And, in the event that I die within the next couple of years, we have a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's called an arrangement. Now, you want to do your own type of, an auto-arranged marriage, not a parent-arranged marriage. Then I say whatever works between two people that are adults, consensual, and of sound mind. Go for what you know. But I just feel as though if it's supposed to be like this love, romance story. Now the woman, she's a widow at 40. I don't know. I'm not down for all of that. But whatever. So okay. So now we go on to and I want to mention that Mahmoud in 20 days will have his visa interview. So it's not even guaranteed. So he's not here yet that we know of, and I don't know when this was filmed, but, maybe he still may be stuck over in Egypt. What if he gets denied for the application? If he gets denied, I don't think she's going to go back to Egypt. Not if she has her right mind. You better enjoy that breeze on that shoulder, girl, because you ain't going to get too much of that over there with him. I'm being silly now. So then Gabe asked Mahmoud about like the what did he say? Oh my God, oh my God, I was so tired when I was hard. I know what it was. So Gabe starts asking Mahmoud the hard-hitting questions about are you going to let her be herself? You're going to let her dress the way she wants to dress? Are you going to respect her opinion of how she sees herself and stuff like that? And that's particularly sensitive to him as a trans man, like I said earlier, right? And I'm not a trans man, but you know what? I definitely can feel. I totally wholeheartedly agree with what he says, and I feel that strong thing. I just don't believe in men making women, dim their light and stuff like that. I don't believe in it, and I'm sorry. Now I don't care if that is. People say, oh, that's culturally insensitive. I don't care. I don't care what culture it's from. Women, we're equal. Okay, equal. So make sure before you guys go looking for partners in countries where, they don't see you as an equal, that you know what you're getting yourself into, because it's very hard to change a person's thinking if that's all they've known and their family has known for thousands of years. Whatever. That's a lot of work. And do you want to do that much work with your partner? Shouldn't they already come to the table with the work done? Yeah, we could all improve a little bit, but you don't want to just come being a complete project to somebody. Come on, who the hell wants that? And and Nicole is not that young. All right, Nicole is in her 30s. Relatively, but she's old enough to know she's in her 30s. Mahmoud's in his 20s. So anyway, Mahmoud's getting pissed off at Gabe. Oh, that's between me and my wife. That's not gonna work, Mahmoud. Now when you're on a tell-all and you've had a camera been following you all this time or whatever. So what did you say? Oh, well, that's impressive hairstyler. Oh, it's okay. Oh, the bugs. Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks, Barbara. I can't stand that. I just can't stand them. So then Sean leaves all. This is what we leave off with, the last basic scene on stage with all them together. She is, because Gabe is asking questions about the religion and the culture, would she be allowed to wear, blah blah blah, things that have to do with basically with his culture and his religion. It's a combination, right? And then Sean says, well, but if they were, is it fair? Basically saying to Gabe, like, is it fair to be asking these questions? Because, if he were Christian or if he were Jewish, we wouldn't be asking these things. Well, it's very interesting that she happens to mention those two particular religions, because those, along with Islam, are all Abrahamic faiths. They all came out of each other, basically. Judaism is the oldest, Christianity is the second, and then Islam came third. And they all spring out of the same little region of the Middle East. They're all connected, right? So, but they have manifested themselves in different ways. Christianity can look very different in one country than it looks in another country, right? In some Christian countries, they believe in hanging gays and, killing them, being punished by the state, because they have no separation of church and state. So, within Judaism, we don't think of Judaism as being an extreme religion, but there are sects within Judaism that are quite extreme. I'm from New York. I lived in Brooklyn, and let me tell you something. I mean, even some of my clients, when I would do their hair, some of my clients, and that way, I mean, and like I said, this was a minority. This wasn't the overall majority. Some Orthodox clients, I would shake their hand. They wouldn't shake my hand, and I didn't know what was going on. And then, they educated me. They said, listen, we don't shake hands in our culture, not with women. It's not done, and da-da-da-da. And this goes back to very old practices and stuff like that. So I don't think, I think she was basically trying to suggest, kind of lightly suggest that Gabe was being, maybe, culturally insensitive, maybe phobic towards his religion or something like that. And, I just feel as though, that I don't think Gabe is looking at it from that perspective. I think Gabe is just like, listen, I'm a minority. Gabe is a minority 6 ways times 7 to the third exponent, right? So that's not a very good argument to use with Gabe. Gabe is just like, I'm about freedom and expression. And, if Gabe had not transitioned and Gabe had remained a woman, Gabe would definitely be a feminist, right? So we're looking at it as a person who's very centric in terms of a person having their own autonomy in a within a culture, even if a culture is more repressive to women. So I saw it more like that, but I think Sean was trying to like spice it up, like trying to call him like low-key Islamophobic or something like that. And I did not take it that way. I did not take it that way, because if he had come from, because there was a large for some of you guys who have not what did you say? Oh, Tracy, Gabe was saying a bit too much about the religion and children. Well, you know what, Tracy, I don't know. I feel as though it probably, maybe to some of the people, it felt like that. But I think that he was asking the questions that a lot of us want to know, because they come from such different cultures. And because with Gabe and Isabel, there isn't that same kind of cultural gap, right, as there is between Nicole and Mahmoud. And, hey, listen, I mean, I think it's a valid question. If you have kids, what if coming from Gabe's perspective, what if you have a kid that's going to be gay? Or what if you have a kid that wants to wear short sleeve shirts or something like that? I mean, I think it probably seemed like he was like going in hard on him, but I think these are questions really Nicole should have been asking Mahmoud before she married him. But, I don't think it was unfair. I really don't. But, again, I come more from a perspective, more something like Gabe, though, too. So I see that more as, anything that's going to be repressive, I just don't. I mean, this could have been avoided had she just, not married him in the first place. But anyway, so Barbara said, did you know that Sean Robinson is 60 years old? Listen, I knew she was 50 something. I didn't know she was 60, but Sean is snatched, honey. That's what you call good genes and good money. Good genes and good money. Because I remember I was looking at some pictures of her like a couple of weeks ago. I was like, what did Sean Robinson look like back in the day? Because she's been on TV for so long. I can't even remember when I first saw her. And I saw like old pictures of her. And she just looks the same, just with different wigs. You know what I mean? Even her wigs always look good. You know what I mean? Nice and flat. And like they look natural. Like Sean Robinson always looks good. Yeah, I mean, I can't say nothing else, but she looks good. But, you know, so we'll see. I mean, you know, the question here that Tracy has or not question, the statement that Tracy has put forward about Gabe saying too much about religion and children. We're going to see how this plays out, especially on social media, because, you know, I'm sure it's going to be people kind of coming for Gabe. And you know, Gabe, the thing is with Gabe, though, I was up in Gabe is a little immature. I'm going to say that for sure. But I was up in Gabe's corner up until the point where he was like, or not up until the point, well, I was in his corner, but then when, like early on, he was saying like, you know, he agrees with Osama and he thinks Osama really didn't, you know, really did love Debbie. I was like, Gabe, now come on. Are you serious? Like the writing is clearly on the wall here. And then he was defending Osama until Osama started saying something like, you know, about the money and stuff like that. Well, you know, I can't just get money here. You know, it's not like I sell underwear. And I was like, oh, snap. Oh my God. He tried to put a dig. He tried to dig at Gabe. See, Gabe, you got to be careful who you're defending, because he's over here. Listen, Osama looks down on you. All right. So don't be over there wasting your breath defending him, because, you know, you have to use your brain, Gabe. He's clearly not into Debbie. But anyway, you know, I don't know, guys. This was a really good episode. So we're going to get part 2 next week, and I'm looking forward to that. And that's about it. So we're going to start in about maybe, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. I'm going to start my episode for Match Me Abroad, and we can talk more shit about that. But it was really good. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thank you, Barbara, Susan, Tracy. It's very nice talking with you guys. And we're going to start Match Me Abroad in a few minutes. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, share it with your friends if you enjoyed it, you got something out of it, you know. So that's good. All right. Stay safe. Take care. And Chipisa Lacho. See you.